What's up, guys and gals? Your host from the most, Griever, as always, bringing you guys, of course, a very late, but a double episode, chapter, whatever you want to call it, video. Once I remembered, as you guys can just tell from my wet hair, I just got out of the shower and recognized, I was like, what about Ayakashi Triangle? Have I talked about that in a while? Oh shit, I missed the chapter. And then I realized there was another chapter, of course, yesterday. So now I'm here, I'm scrambling, as you guys can tell, because yeah, let's just get right into this. Because honestly, I'm glad that there's not a whole lot to talk about, and this is sort of a two-parter anyway, so that sort of happy stance worked out a little bit, I guess. But suffice it to say, alright, so this chapter, the cover page was beautiful, but no Soga. And he's my guy. He's my man. And he's not in any of these chapters, so like, don't do that to me. Don't show me my dude working out, making me look bad, sort of shit, and then not give him. Like, that's just cruelty on another level. But outside of that, there's a few things I like about this, because we're introducing a little bit of, once again, the fluff. The fluff, at this point, I'm not ever going to expect a long-running plot or arc at any realistic distinction, at any measure, like by shonen standards, or seinen standards, by that matter. But here's what I'm going to say, is that they did the beach episode, let's do the camping episode, right? Let's do the camping thing. Okay, so we're doing the camping thing, but no Soga. That's a little odd to me, but then I actually really like this chapter. When you sit down and you go through it, you realize that this is actually really cool because, of course, everybody would be wowed initially because, of course, Lou or Lucy is absolutely, she's swimming in money, right? So she's got butlers, she's got maids, she's got chefs, and everybody sets up like this gorgeous campsite in the middle of the mountains. Sets up a beautiful campsite, and everything's all shiny and rainbows. There's a TV, there's a couch, there's a bed, there's people to serve you everything and stuff like that. And it's like, that's not what camping is. This is referred to as what people have called glamping. I don't know when that term came about, but I've heard it in recent years, but for quite a while now. It's called glamping. They consider people who RV are sort of glamping a little bit. Or nowadays, see, it's gone a little with the other side. Before, it was if you tented or trailered, right, and you went to a campground, I mean, that was still camping, campgrounds, or just out in the woods, whatever. It's all camping, right? All of a sudden, when people started doing seasonal and building decks and basically creating a trailer as a cottage, that's when the whole idea of glamping came into the fray. And then it went a step further when all of a sudden people were, they decided that campgrounds is glamping. Even if you take a tent and a little propane torch to keep you warm sort of idea, with a little Coleman stove, you are still glamping if you go to a campground rather than just go in the middle of nowhere with wolves, cougars, and black bears galore. If you don't do that shit, you ain't camping nowadays. So it's very weird how the term has evolved a little bit here. But suffice it to say, this is definitely glamping. This is 100% glamping. And that was not the point of the trip. And I like the fact, like, of course it's crazy over the top, but I like the idea that she explains that it doesn't matter what we faced, and they're all happy about it. And this makes sense. Teenagers would be happy about this, right? Like, if you're going camping in the middle of the woods, I don't know many girls that were my age back in the day or nowadays. Even my own wife does not want to go camping with me. I like camping. She doesn't. Very few women who aren't got more balls than me, which we all know what those types are like, legitimately want to go into the middle of a mosquito-infested woods with no shower, no way to piss, and that's the big thing. It was always the washroom. That's why my dad bought a trailer for my mother. The whole reason of buying a trailer was literally so mom had a bathroom. That was the only reason. And that's a true story. And the fact of the matter is that it's not about the electricity and stuff, but it's about, all that stuff. And at the end of the day, there are very few women who would enjoy the camping for 3 days or a week, a long weekend or a week in the middle of nowhere. Many women would hate their lives and want to divorce their husbands within 2 days. And that's being generous. So, the idea here is that I really like Lou or Lucy basically saying, we're going to that mountain over there by ourselves, and no, we're setting up a tent, we're doing the barbecue, we're doing the whole bit, we're doing a picnic table at best, and no other structure. That's the extent of what we're going to do. We're going to live off the land sort of idea. We're going to do that shit. And that's really nice because it's showing so many sides to this. It shows the glamping, it shows traditional camping, and it shows how teenage girls in general, or teenagers of this era in general, would react to camping. They would say, oh yeah, let's go out into the woods, let's party, let's drink beer, let's do this, let's do that. But they would be totally happy with glamping if you offered it to them. They think they're hardcore, but the moment you offer the TV and the Wi-Fi and all the shit, trust me, they'd be tempted. They would be tempted. I went through it myself. But the idea here that I really like is that they actually go and do it. They actually do real camping in the middle of nowhere, blah, blah, blah. I didn't do too much of that, but I was, in a crib camping. So, I in a tent in the middle of nowhere. So I think I'm suffice enough of a source to say that this was a good representation of the differences between, I would argue there are about 4 to 5 different types of camping. And we're seeing the extreme on one side, the extreme on the other, and the happy in the middle as well. And that's kind of nice. So, and the chef and the maid and the butler and stuff, they're just so happy that she wants to go out and be her own strong woman and stuff like that. It's actually a really good message. That here's this frilly, hair, nails, clothes, shoes girl who actually wants to go out into, once again, as I said, the mosquito-infested, wolves at night, fucking dark, dank, sleeping on the cold ground. But she wants to do it with her friends. That's a nice message. That's nice, in my opinion. But anyway, so they do go out and do this and stuff, and of course antics ensue, but they have nice hot meal over a campfire and all that stuff, with the rocks and everything. They start their own campfire from the brush they find. They set up their little tent. They have their nice scenery and stuff like that, and they all sleep in this tent talking about stuff and just having a general good time. That's actually really nice. That's what I took away from this chapter overall. But then, of course, we have to add the Ayakashi angle into it, right? We have to add that angle into it. And honestly, I feel like that sort of takes away from the chapter because it bleeds into the next chapter. But at the end of the day, we get a couple of Ichi moments. But Shirogane basically says that this mountain is actually the spot of an ancient burial ground or a battlefield. And we get some really cool designs of skeleton warriors and stuff like that. But Lou basically becomes possessed. At the end of the day, Lou goes out to take a leak. And she gets possessed by one of the zombie samurai warrior people's ghosts. And, yeah. So, the first half of the chapter I really like because it's showcasing all sides of today's teenagers. Not that I would really know, being an adult myself. But I feel like there's not enough people just enjoying camping. Like me, I never actually got a chance to go just camping with my friends. For whatever reason, situations arise and stuff. I've been to a campground with some friends and stuff, but I never got to go out into the middle of the woods, just us, no parents, no none of that. I've gone with friends camping with like my parents or their parents or whatever, but I never, by the time I was old enough to go camping on my own, I don't recall a moment where I ever actually got to do that. So I really like this chapter. I like the idea that, yeah, go out and just have some fun, Be 16, be 17, you know what I mean? Go out, have a good time. Drink a little beer, cook a little bit of food, burn it and figure out, shit, I can't really cook. Because I'm a teenager, I don't know how to cook yet, you know what I mean? It's kind of a nice chapter overall in that first, part or first half. Then, of course, we get to the Ayakashi stuff, and that's all fine too. But Either way, that's chapter 97, and we continue it on in chapter 98. Shirogane transforms into panties, and that's pretty much the chapter. Yeah. In all honesty, chapter 97 set up some good character feeling moments, some good actual realistic teenage years, that some of which I missed out on, as I just previously said. But that was realistic, and that was nice, and that was heartwarming. And then we had to go Ichi Ayakashi with it, which actually sort of takes away from it. Even though the designs of the samurai and stuff are cool, but the fact of the matter is it was solved in one more chapter. So we established a problem by the end of the last chapter, and then this chapter it's solved by the end of this chapter. So because it doesn't go very far and doesn't go anywhere, I got a minus points off of chapter 98 because it was Ichi for the sake of Ichi. It's the whole, because she just so happened to be going out into the woods and taking a leak. Not like the samurai warriors could have went through the tent and possessed them, which we saw Yayo was, like, oh my god, there's this crazy zombie samurai warrior. The fact that she had to be possessed when she had her panties dropped to the floor, and that's the whole reason that Matsuri, the whole premise of this chapter is that Matsuri can't attack and can't focus his wind jutsu because Lu's not wearing panties. And then Shirogane has to do transformation jutsu into panties. I mean, the pussy covering for the pussy, I guess. I don't know. I don't know. This one was, like, don't get me wrong. Ichi is generally, like, ridiculous level situations of stupidity a lot of the time, but this one is up there. This one is getting a little bit on the yep, we're reaching the top. At least what I consider. So yeah, I didn't really care for chapter 98 because it was not even predictable. It was just batshit out to left field as to how they handled it, in my opinion. So, I mean, that is what it is, I guess. But yeah, so I talked a lot about chapter 97, and this is why I'm sort of glad, as I said at the beginning of this review, was that I collaborated these two, because I don't really have anything else to say about chapter 98. I've talked for like 2.5 minutes, 4 minutes at best. So there's not really a whole lot to say about chapter 98. Didn't really care for it. Thought it was kind of like over the top ridiculous, and not in a fun way, but just in a, okay, so we're going to do Ichi 101, I don't know. Just wasn't really for me, but I like chapter 97. So hopefully now that the camping trip is over, we'll move on to chapter 99, and I'm hoping for something greatness from chapter 100. I really am. I'm hoping for the milestone chapter to mean something significant. Even though I've made that video, which you guys should definitely go check out, the video about how milestone chapters don't actually mean very, very much to almost all the major manga in history. Milestone chapters are very rarely anything special, but still, chapter 100 is a little different. So we'll hold our breath and we'll see. But not sure if you should hold your breath too long, because I don't think chapter 100 is going to be anything super special, even though I hold out the hope for it, right? So, anyways, that's my take on the latest 2 chapters of Ayakashi Triangle. What did you guys think? Let me know down in the comment section down below. Like, comment, and subscribe as always. Fourth and most importantly, don't forget to drink, but responsibly as I always do. And we will see you beautiful people back here once again for Ayakashi Triangle chapter 99. Hopefully it's a little better than chapter 98. That's all I can say. See you guys back here next time. Bye-bye.